Well, I know we only been around. We weren't around last week, but still a lot going on in the Cleveland sports scene. Sometimes words don't come to you right away when the live button just jumps in front of you. But hey, you gotta do it live, as Bill O'Reilly, I think it was, said it. I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but we gotta do it live at times. And this is the Voice of Land Live coming at you on, of course, social media, our YouTube channel, brought to you by our friends over at Greenie Sports Cards. You want to get out to the Woodside Event Center in Broadview Heights this weekend, 9 to 3 event going on, a card show out there. We did one later on in the year at that same venue. A lot of tables there, a lot of great people, just a lot of great conversations out there. I made sure to apologize to Steve and Jeremy, and all the best to Steve as well, as he goes
definitely
talking about him doing physical therapy. So all the best to him. But made sure to tell them that I know we were promoted in one of the tweets for this one, but unfortunately we aren't able to be there. Both Ryan and I have prior obligations, but hopefully, we'll definitely look at trying to do that big Great Lakes Collectors Convention coming up in April. I think mid-April this year, maybe the weekend after Easter as well. I think I saw that, not draft weekend like it was last year, but they do such great things. Greenie Sports Cards, go to greeniesportscards.com. Greenieshows.com tells you where they're going to be at all times throughout the year. And then they're always live at least every Tuesday. Sometimes they do some extra lives throughout the week on social media, doing some eBay bidding, and have some guests. They talk about the hobby of collecting cards, and great guests that they get. So make sure to check those guys out. We thank them so much for supporting us. Got to thank Peter Tulp and LPV Productions for supporting us as well. And with that, let's just jump right in. There's stuff going on with the basketball team, the football team, a little with the baseball team. Ohio State, we're kind of in the dead period. I know their basketball team. Women's great. Absolutely great. Coach McGruff has got that program always near the top. I know they got beat by that school up north, which isn't good in OT last night, but it was a really, really well-played game, just back and forth, and it came down to the last shot, and that's what you expect at this time of the year. The men's, though, you get off to a 14-2 lead, and then you just get absolutely blitzed the rest of the way by Iowa. That's not a tournament team. I'm sorry. That's not a tournament team. And, Jake Dealer's job is probably in question there at Ohio State, because, if you go to the Ohio State University, it's not just enough for your football team to be contending for championships. All of your programs should be, and especially your basketball programs. There is some rich history there that we're just kind of letting be mediocre, and that's just not the standard and should not be the standard of Ohio State. While it's not considered a basketball school, it should be considered an athletic school, and everything being a lot of the athletic programs being really, really good. Again, they have great swimming. They got great soccer. They have so many other great programs. Basketball being the marquee thing at this time, Ryan, you need to be better.
Yeah, it's wrestling season too, so I'm focusing on the Ohio State wrestling right now.
They got a really good wrestling.
Number 2 in the country, they just wrestled against number 1 in the country, Penn State, 2 Fridays ago, and absolutely got boat raced. Penn State has won, I think, 89 consecutive dual matches, which is a smashed NCAA record. So, they're very, very good under Coach Cale Sanderson, the first ever completely undefeated college wrestler who went all 4 years completely undefeated, 4-time national champion. He was able to do that, and he's been their very successful coach now for like 20 years. So, yeah, powerhouse. But Ohio State wrestling also very good. Shout out them.
Yes. A lot of great programs. Men's basketball, you need to do better. But we look at that takes us to our basketball team here in town, and just when it looks like things are going well, boy, oh boy, the sports gods really sports, I wouldn't call it karma, because we didn't do anything to anybody. We didn't do anything to the sports gods, and yet the injuries keep happening. Now, I feel like Donovan Mitchell, while he was listed with an injury last night against Milwaukee, I feel like that was just sitting him and getting him ready for Detroit tomorrow night. And Evan Mobley, the same thing, just, not playing in back-to-backs right now. They had played going in, through last night, they had played 5 games in 7 days. So you need. I know people don't like it. They don't like load management, Ryan, but with all of the analytics, but also the medical expertise and advancements that they find, to a certain extent, there is a right way to go about that and making sure your players are right for the most important time of the year. James Harden, though, no free throw attempts against the Knicks. Now, I was actually in the building for this one, Ryan, and I'm not saying that to give myself props. I'm only saying that,
of course not. I'm just jealous because, man, good game.
Yes. I'm saying that because, you see it on TV, and I think I even posted just a random thought that popped in my head as the game was going on, that I used to hate going against James Harden because he got all these calls. It's the same thing with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Anytime you touch him, Jalen Brunson, if anybody was near him, they put a fingernail about 5 feet away from him, he was getting a call. James Harden is not getting those calls, and he's on our team now. And I don't know if it was a play where he went to the ground and kind of braced himself with that right hand, or when he went driving to the basket and everybody was, I'm sure on TV, I'm sure the national people were all giving Brunson his flowers for getting a clean steal or swipe with Harden in the open court. It was not a clean swipe, and they showed it very quickly on the big jumbotron, and you could almost hear the smack on the hand, and that's not one of those shooters high five, that foul that they allow to go. It was smack down on the hand and right there on that right hand. So a fracture in that thumb. He's going to play through it, doesn't need surgery, but man, can we ever have anything nice?
I don't know, man. It makes me nervous too. I mean, look, I respect it. I respect that, the hell that he's going to attempt to play, but to be honest, this is not a small thing. I don't think. I mean, you need both hands to control pace, to absorb contact, to dribble the ball under pressure. His passing, it might be affected, out of traps. The timeline, I think I heard on the fan day they said 6 to 8 weeks if that's no contact, but that's not really realistic if you're actually going to be playing basketball. That's only if it doesn't get hit again. In the NBA, you're going to get hit. That thumb's going to get hit. That's the reality. We'll see.
Well, I'm actually seeing from Danny Cunningham, who covers the Cavs. I used to work with him here at the station, but now runs a lot of good stuff on Substack. Locked On Cavs does podcasts all the time. Does some hosting here in town still on some of the stations. So, but he is tied in, and the injury report tomorrow, not so good. Donovan Mitchell, the groin issues are back. So it's more legit than we were just talking about. This was an hour ago, so I hadn't even been on social media yet, so I apologize for having wrong information at the beginning. But Donovan Mitchell with the groin injury is out. Keon Ellis, index finger fracture, so another player that has a finger fracture. James Harden, thumb fracture. Dennis Schroeder, ankle sprain. And Dean Wade, ankle sprain, are all questionable tomorrow. So Dean Wade shows back up on the injury report. Dennis Schroeder, two of the new guys, Keon and Dennis. Man,
it makes me nervous. People question probably, is this going to tank their playoff chances? I don't necessarily think so, but it does absolutely tighten that rope that they're walking for sure.
Yes.
That's not.
Depending on how many of those guys are actually out tomorrow,
right?
That's a built-in excuse if you lose. But man, that's
the big game, man. That's the test. That was the benchmark game. We took on the Knicks, now the Pistons, and if we have 5 guys out, 2 starters and 2 main second team guys, that's not good.
It is not, and I'm quote tweeting this as I'm doing this show live of I don't understand. It just feels like every time they do the right thing, why is it here where these injuries happen? I haven't really looked around the league to see how injuries have gone, but I feel like injuries are definitely on the on the increase. I just, man, oh man, I'm just trying to see what I'm doing right now and making sure we don't have any dead air right now. Is I'm just trying to go through some of the tweets kind of like right around Danny and see if there's like further discussion on some of these injuries. Like I know like right after Harden's came out, then people started saying, they had like an update on like where the fracture was in the thumb and like how he can still play with it. I gotta say, I did a terrible job covering that, 2 nights ago because I saw a little bandage on Harden's thumb, but it looked like, you ever have like those covers over a Band-Aid, like when you had like a deep cut on your finger, that type of thing, like to hold it on. That's what it looked like. It was like maybe it was like a cut or something. So like I didn't pry, I didn't ask, and Harden was kind of like in and out because he was the last one to talk in the locker room. And, but I should have like tweeted something like, hey, like, keep your eyes out. Saw a bandage on his thumb, but like, I didn't think anything of it.
I mean, a bandage, it's a bandage. You think a small cut or, not a broken or fractured tip of your thumb. So,
yeah. So, and then to see Ellis, I don't know which hand it is. I don't think it said which hand it is. It just says index finger, but that's like, if that's on your shooting hand, like that's though. My dad always taught me when you shoot the basketball, it's off really the 3 fingers in the middle. Like you want your thumb and your pinky to be in good position, but it's really coming off of those fingers right in the middle. So if it's on his right hand, like that's not going to be good at all. So man, the news there is, as soon as I open, just trying to promote our show, turns into very, very sad news as the Cavs do. And even like one of the top topics right now on X is they will be shorthanded tomorrow in a tough test against the Pistons, who are, look, this is the Pistons. They're using the Pistons right now and what they're doing this year. People are saying, well, the Cavs shouldn't have gotten rid of JB Bickerstaff. I push back on that, Ryan. I don't know if you do, but I do, because the players, like, it's a player-driven league. The players get what they want more often than not in the NBA. The players, for some reason, didn't like him. And your main star, Donovan Mitchell, it was reported, didn't like him. So no matter what, if you kept him around just because of the great level of coach that he actually is, that causes rifts in the locker room and all that kind of stuff, or guys listening or guys not. Like that just makes worse, and that puts a hindrance on your development instead of trying to progress it forward. Now, we know that last year ended the same way, but still it had to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take, I don't look too much into that, I guess. I mean, head coaches in the NBA transfer all the time and have success. I mean, Ty Lue did it. He won us a championship, and he's had success elsewhere. I mean, Mike Brown, it happens. So, great for him. I like JB. I also thought that we definitely needed a change for sure. Hopefully we continue past the second round this year, or else the same question is going to be with Kenny Atkinson this year or after this year. So, the windows are tight. The margins are small, specifically when you have these superstar players that are only guaranteed to be with your team for a certain amount of time. Good for him. Good for their success. Cade Cunningham's an absolute legend over there, playing some amazing basketball. And I was looking forward to this matchup. It really sucks that half of our team is out. Nonetheless, if we want to be taken seriously, we want to be an NBA champion again in Cleveland. And we're going to have to get through Detroit. So, theoretically, of course, but they're the leader in the Eastern Conference, and it sucks because I think this was going to be a benchmark game. So I feel like fans are definitely getting a disservice here. And it's not to the players' fault, of course. Injuries suck, but yeah, well, like you said, why us? Why this is stupid?
Why us? And really put a damper on like the excitement I had, like just like coming back and doing the show this week. Like I open it up and I love DC. I love Danny. Like I've worked with him for a little while, and I see him now when I get a chance to cover games, and it's not him. It's what's actually going on with the Cavs right now. So a lot of injuries going on, and tomorrow night you go up to Detroit. I'm sure we'll all be watching, but what we're going to be watching for more so is up until like that 2-hour mark before tip off, who of those questionable are actually playing. Now, again, James Harden said that he wants to play with the injury. Does he decide to play, or if most of those guys are out, I'm sure the Cavs will try to shut him down as well and just give everybody time to kind of heal. I still have not seen like any further information on Keon Ellis. I don't see like a release from the Cavs either, but man, Keon Ellis injured finger. Dean Wade, Dennis Schroeder,
man.
Yeah. And I was watching the fourth quarter last night. And I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'm not upset about the loss. Like, you should probably still beat a team like Milwaukee with the talent you still had out there. But they have won 7 of their last 9, so now 8 of their last 10. So, like, they're a team that's playing well without their star. Like, they've figured out how to play without their star, and they also do have Doc Rivers as a coach. Doc Rivers is a really good regular season coach and can coach well in the playoffs, but when you get down, like, you end up in a big situation, you end up down like 3-1 at some point in that series. And, more often than not, unless you're the 2016 Cavs, you're not coming back from a 3-1 deficit in a 7-game playoff series. So I wasn't upset about the loss, but I saw one of his drives towards the end, he definitely got up hobbling a little bit. Like, there was – and then, of course, once the adrenaline wears off after the game, that's when these things are found. So, I wondered why Dean Wade didn't really – he had a great game against the Knicks, doesn't score against the Bucks. What's going on there? Oh, well, when did the injury happen? Early on, like, affected him, or it happened in the Knicks game, and, then it started – I guess the theme of this show was why us.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, we're Browns fans. We're used to it.
Yeah.
We're Guardians fans. We're used to it. We're Cleveland fans. We're used to it.
So, I mean, you mentioned the Guardians before we get on to the Browns and kind of the stuff going on with the combine right now. I mean, Chase DeLauder, lower body soreness. Like, it's precautionary, and I put that in quotations because that's what they're calling it. But a guy that hasn't been able to stay healthy, you get real concerned when you see that. Like, if it was anybody else that was listed, more of the guys that play all the time, Manzardo, Jose, Quan, that type of thing. If you saw, like, lower body soreness, like,
no big deal.
Okay, keep him out, let him rest. You're telling me precautionary? I believe you.
But you throw Bubble Boy out there.
That's what it is with Chase.
Yeah.
I want to believe that's what it is with DeLauder, but his history tells me otherwise.
Yeah. Got to wrap him up in bubble wrap like the little Giants kid. Don't be talking about my mama.
Yeah. I see good things coming. Daniel Espino seems to be trying to make a comeback, but he's dealt with so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Bazana was, he didn't really have an injury history when he was drafted, but had the oblique injuries last season in the minors. Doesn't have a lot of games. Hits a towering home run, then goes, he's going to play for Australia for the World Baseball Classic. I know people are all upset about this and like the timing of, like, that's on baseball, that's on all of that. Like, he's going to play for his country.
Yeah.
And he's an Australian that is trying to show that there's a history now in Australia, and there's baseball development there in Australia. What better way to do that than the ultimate prize you can get for playing for your country in baseball, the World Baseball Classic? I don't fault him. I don't fault anybody that's going to play for their country. We saw the pride in the Olympics. I don't fault anybody for going to play for their country in any big time opportunity they get. I can't.
No, I agree. I mean, especially with the pedigree that he brings. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have much pedigree in the MLB, but he's the first overall pick in the MLB going back to represent his country. I mean, that they can market that. They can, and like you said, the pride. You look at the hockey team for USA, man. They did that for each other. They did that for their country, and it was a lot of fun. So, I mean, I have nothing no qualms with that. Bo Naylor went as well. Like, what it is what it is. Good luck to him. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully, the main thing is you stay healthy. Don't get injured.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, go have fun. You play baseball. You want to play baseball for your country, go play baseball for your country, whatever.
Yeah. And then, I know that people are also upset that, Travis Bazzana's, he's not going to start the year in the major leagues. He's going to go down in the minors. And people are complaining about how, they act like him being hurt last year is a guy that's been hurt for, all the time. Like that, from what I heard, once he got hurt last year, it was the first time he had really dealt with something long-term and was a durable player. And people want to say, well, we should have picked this guy and that guy. I'm going to tell everybody right now, if you are upset because Travis Bazzana is not up here and other players in his draft class are playing for their major league teams, whether halfway through last year, like Jack Caglione with the Kansas City Royals or Connor Griffin with the Pirates or whatever it might be in that draft class, you cannot say that we picked the wrong player, because if we would have picked one of those guys, guess what? The Guardians would still be taking the slow approach to bring them up. That is the way that they operate. It's not about Travis Bazzana. It's not about him and how he plays, or if him being a bad player. When he is out there and he is healthy, you see him making plays and contributing on the base paths, hitting home runs, hitting doubles, exactly what you want out of a Guardians hitter. That's what he has the ability to do. In terms of his progress through the minors, it was always going to be a slow burn. Just the way the organization works.
Yeah, Frankie Lindor.
I don't like hearing it, but it's just the way it is.
They do it. They did with Lindor. He was 4 years down in the minors before you got called up. They're going to slow roll it. They're not going to push him. He's the main thing is he's in the big league camp. He's talented enough to make things uncomfortable. He's polished enough to move quickly. But like you said, the organization is not going to rush him, and they shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't. His approach, his plate discipline, how he handles the big league velocity will determine the timeline. I think. If he has a chance, if he forces their hand, they'll deal with that. But if he needs AAA time, they're comfortable with that too. Either way, he's still one of the most watched players in Arizona, and we're still going to be talking about him all spring training here. So.
And it's great that Caglione got the major league experience last year, and that's what people would point to, and they would probably shove that back in my face. But I'm here to tell you, he batted 150 or lower. Great, he can hit some towering home runs. But it was, was he actually ready, or did they throw him in there too fast? And then, if he starts slow again this year, that confidence level drops instead of being up. I'm not saying the Guardians are doing it the right way. Right. I'm just saying don't go at Travis Bazzana for not being up here. It's not just because of his injuries. It's because they're going to slow roll it. Now, his injuries push that timeline further back, but it was always going to be a slow burn. Why us? I don't know, but it's just the way it is. Why us or the Cleveland Browns? Why do we have bad football here so often in a town that's an hour north of where pro football was created in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? The ultimate team is located. I don't know, but combine's going on. Ryan, I know once the combine is kind of over in the coming weeks, you're big on prospects and that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. You are going to be breaking those guys down. We're going to start after the combine. So if you sit there and you watch 5 to 7 hours of combine coverage every single day of guys working out, and you see a certain name, and then Ryan brings them up, you're going to want to be listening, because I'm telling you, Ryan can break these players down with the best of them. I learned that last year, saw some of the players he talked about and what they're able to do. Listen to Ryan as well as some of the other experts, because he knows what he is talking about. Really, the conversation right now around this team is quarterback. What do they do? Blake Willis's name keeps coming up. Anthony Richardson was given the ability to seek a trade. Andrew Berry and Todd Monken talked. Boy, oh boy, is that a differentiation between those two, instead of the word salad that you used to get day after day when it was Andrew Berry one day and then Kevin Stefanski the next. You don't get that anymore, because Todd Monken will tell you what it is.
I like that. I like his bold and upfrontness. I think that's gonna. I mean, for fans who have been, begging for anything to come out of Stefanski other than just, stole, cold face, it's my job, I got to do better, blah, 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 just feeding us bull crap and not being, actually holding accountability. Todd Monken, I feel like, is going to break it down. He might even drop some, choice words or be a little exciting here. It might be, I'm not saying Dan Campbell type of interviews, but still nonetheless refreshing for Browns fans. Yeah, the quarterbacks, I don't know, man. I mean, it's obvious that this is going to be a quarterback competition. Shedeur Sanders, as much as, a lot of Browns fans love him, by no means I think he earned the starting position in 2026. Did he show some great flashes of great things? Sure. Yeah, he did. He did for sure. He also showed, some boneheaded plays. How much of that was a testament to the state of our offensive line, the state of our receiving core, just the, offensive continuity in general or play calling. I don't know. But this year we're going to find out. A healthy Deshaun Watson, Houston's version of Deshaun Watson, I think fits Todd Monken's system perfectly. A savvy veteran quarterback who can sling the ball around and just doesn't turn the ball over. That's who Deshaun Watson was before he came here. So Watson's going to get that opportunity. I don't know if he'll get the job. They talk about how much they like Ty Simpson in the draft. They talk about Malik Willis as, the Browns maybe wanting to offer like $30 million a year. Man, I don't know.
Where is this money coming from?
Yeah, I don't. First off, I don't know. Yeah, we're forking over, $230 million guaranteed to a quarterback that is not playing, but is now in the mix. But let's 2 years, $30 million a year for a guy who's played 8 games. I don't know. Personally, I would just stick with the competition, roll with Watson and Shedeur, see who wins it. Because 2020, I mean. Let's be real. This year, we're not going to be good, guys. We're not. We have too many holes. We are more than 1 year away from contending for the playoffs. That's hard. That's a hard realization for Browns fans because there's so much hope and optimism. But like it is what it is. Like our entire offensive line needs replaced at one point or another. And if we pencil a guy in because we don't know if they're going to be DeJuan Jones, as much as we love him, we can't count on him. He's unreliable until he can get out there and show that he's healthy. Luke Whippler hurt himself. Zach Zinter was healthy scratch half of the year. We don't have anything on that offensive line. It's unrealistic to think that, Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or Deshaun Watson are going to be great with that. Not to mention Jerry Jeudy, a wide receiver 4 is our wide receiver 1. A lot of holes in this draft, in this team, but there's a lot of opportunities to fill those holes, with the draft this year. As much as last year I stressed we needed to get those rookies in to play to see what we got because 2026 is going to be the year of quarterbacks. With NIL now, that all got pushed back to 2027. So the already dominant, loaded 2027 class in general now has every single quarterback. So we're going to be a bad team most likely. Hopefully we see what we have in these quarterbacks because if we don't, we're going to draft the quarterback in 2027. It's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. But I don't want to talk about the 2027 draft class until the end of October. I need 2 months of college football to know who's actually good and who's not. Like how many quarterbacks are going to be around. Like I assume Julian Sand's going to get better at Ohio State. I assume that the progress that we saw from Arch Manning, he's going to start at that spot, and if he continues to trend in the right direction, then that's going to be a hot commodity. You got oh my gosh, why is the name escaping me from Oregon? Dante Moore Dante Moore from Oregon.
Sellers. I mean, there's a lot.
There's a lot of names.
Guys that got to prove it.
There were names at this time, last year, or even as soon as that. The 2025 draft ended. There were a bunch of names. Yep. Everybody was doing their way too early mock drafts. And a name that no one thought about and talked about, Fernando Mendoza, is the number 1 quarterback. And we're not going to break him down right now. Would he be number 1 in amongst some other quarterbacks? Who knows? Like, I'm not here to tear kids down and their opportunity to play in the league. Like that's not what I'm going to do. We can have those conversations, but I'm not going to tear them down. But even from Fernando Mendoza to the next quarterback, there is a big drop off. Ty Simpson, okay, you played in the SEC, you made some throws, but when it mattered most, Not you get blitzed by Indiana like that. That at Alabama and what the standard they have now, you cannot have that. The other now before there's one last thing I want to get to in just 1 second, but the other big question that people are debating right now, Ryan, is looks like the common thought is wide receiver and offensive tackle, some sort of combination like that in the first round, and even like those first 3 picks through from 1 to 39. Maybe like 2 offensive linemen and a wide receiver. But in that first round, if you do go a wide receiver and the offensive tackle, which one do you do first?
Me personally?
Yes.
First off, people are going to hate this. I talked about this last night on a different show. But at 6, Andrew Berry's probably going to trade out of 6. Let's be real. He loves trading out. He loves acquiring more picks. But if he sticks there and there's one prospect on that board still above anyone else, I'm taking him, and his name is Caleb Downs. And I would take Caleb Downs at 6 absolutely over receiver, over offensive tackle. And I do think that there are receivers and tackles that are warranted of that position. I would take Cardinal Tate there. Absolutely. He's my wide receiver 1. I would take Jordan Tyson at 6, even though there's injury concerns. I don't think that necessarily that's going to be a problem in the NFL. It's just he destroyed his knee, and then after that, he had a hamstring injury in the same leg, which is usually it happens with people who got their knee injured just because they're trying to compensate. I'd even take Mekhi Levin at 6. And, he's the best slot receiver in this draft. Really, really shifty, really crafty, has great hands. Francis Malinois out of Miami is a right tackle. He is my absolute top tackle in this draft. I would take him at 6. There are a lot of guys I would take there that are positions of need. But as I said, if you're going into this season for my realization, the realization of we're not going to be good next year. We need to acquire pieces. We need to get. I'm not passing on an elite safety. Safety is a need. It's not the most, the highest need for the Browns. Obviously, Ronnie Harrison is a free agent. We'll see if he comes back. But there's a need for safety, and Caleb Downs would turn our Super Bowl caliber defense into. I don't like giving comparisons necessarily, but he's an elite prospect. It would just be incredible. That being said, if they don't trade down, I don't necessarily think he'll probably take Caleb Downs. I think that Andrew Berry might use him as a chess piece. Hey guys, like the Travis Hunter. Oh, he's a unicorn. Blah blah blah. Come here, Cincinnati. You're there at pick 9 or pick 10. Come down. Come get Caleb Downs. So you're just going to cost your 2027 first, but hey, you're going to get your elite safety. He's probably going to do that. It's naive to think that he's not. But man, if I'm him, I'm taking that pick. But I would be happy with receivers or offensive tackles at any of those picks as well. It just for me, if Caleb Downs is there at 6, I am going to be hammering the table. So
you already know how I feel about that because OHIO all
right.
day every day for me.
Bias aside, he's the best prospect I've seen in this draft so far. So
yes, and people want to say that there's no blue chips. Well, again, these guys haven't played in the NFL yet, and now people are really trying to poke holes in Caleb Downs' game when the offseason really started with the teams that were going to be, we're already slotted in the draft by not making the playoffs. One of the names everybody brought up, Caleb Downs. Now everybody wants to poke holes in him. They want to break him down. This is what happens in this season, and it's going to get sillier and stupider and sillier and stupider as we go until we get to the actual results of the draft. The last thing I wanted to touch on, I don't know if you saw this, but the survey, the report cards, basically that survey of players about their team came out. And the Browns ranked 30th amongst NFL teams. So that's probably a D- or something like that average. Just want to run through some of these because this comes from Daniel Oyefusi, covers the Browns for ESPN NFL Nation. He took a screenshot of the results. Treatment of families, D-.
Wow.
Home game field, B-. Okay, I know that it gets kind of tore up as the season goes, but I think part of that is weather, and I think that we have some of the best grounds crews in
they're building a dome, so that's going to be an A soon.
Yeah. Food and dining area, D+. Locker room, F.
Wow.
Training room and training staff, the C level. Weight room B plus, which it should be because they put a lot of money into that weight room in Berea. It should be around there. The new things this year are they do give grades to the coordinators. They did not do this last year, like until this year. And of course, this is all feelings based on 2025. This isn't going into 2026. This is what they felt after coming out of last season. Offensive coordinator D plus. Defensive coordinator, A minus. Well, both of them are gone, so throw those grades out. Special teams coordinator, D, gone as well. We'll see if that improves. Team travel, D minus. And then the other new one is the general manager. So they gave the head coach, which this would be based on Kevin Stefanski, not Todd Monken, a C minus. Andrew Berry got a C, and team ownership got a C as well.
Wow. Average.
So imagine if we didn't have the kind of draft we had last year, what the general manager grade might have been.
I haven't seen this. Is the last team on the board still the Cardinals?
No.
No, every year it's the Cardinals. That's crazy. Who is it this time?
Pittsburgh Steelers
Wow,
are the lowest team this after last season.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. I haven't seen their report card, but like that just gives you a sense of it. I mean, the treatment of families has not improved since last year. Head coach went from a C to a C minus. Team ownership went from a C plus to a C. So a lot of these grades that I'm looking at from like because Daniel also posts like what the 2025 survey based on 2024 looked like. Hey, the locker room improved from an F minus to an F.
Wow.
So, but I also don't know like which locker room we're talking about. The one at the stadium, like of course that's like old, but I thought the locker rooms at Berea were probably pretty nice because they put a lot of money into this stuff, and they're building new buildings around there. They're going to have like a whole campus over. So I feel like
talking about the atmosphere under Kevin Stefanski. No, fine. So at least the Cardinals, they charge everyone for food. You have to go in there and pay for food.
Also, the Bengals too, or
I haven't heard the Bengals
after that came out last year.
I haven't heard the Bengals, but I know the Cardinals still do it. So
yeah, because the that Brown family, they're not cheap.
Some money in escrow, so got to get it from somewhere.
Charles Davis of CBS told Andrew Siciliano apparently that several teams in the league have a strong feeling that Joe Burrow wants out, but they're never going to do that in Cincinnati. Like they're too cheap to be able to like deal with those ramifications. So yeah, why us? We got an injured list filled basketball team. We got great prospects that can't stay healthy. We got a football team that doesn't play well, probably won't have a good season next year, and players are not happy with a lot of things that go on around there. So, yeah, everybody wonders why, people in the media are so negative, and really a lot of us are being realistic. Exhibit A, B, and C.
Right. Ever since Bottlegate, man.
Yeah. Bottlegate. Man, sports gods hate us for throwing bottles. I didn't do it.
No.
I don't know why I got to deal with it, but hey, my teacher always told me my coach always told me when one person messes up, everybody suffers because it's all about the team. Cleveland fans, we're all a team. We're all in this together.
We're suffering.
Yeah, I hate to end on that kind of note, but that's where we're going to end this show. Thanks to our sponsors at Greeny Sports Cards. Again, the show this weekend, Woodside Event Center, Broadview Heights, 9 to 3, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure to check out Steve, Jeremy, and their entire team doing a lot of great stuff. And then go to greenysportscards.com for all the information on them and their social media handles. Thank you to Peter Tellup and LPV Productions. Ryan, thank you always for what you do and getting us all set up and get us out there live for everybody to tune in. And thank you to everybody that does tune in to the Voice of the Land each week or watch it back as the week goes on.
Real quick, right after this at 7 o'clock, the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football, my fantasy football podcast with David Cahoon will go live. It's our week 2. We're going to be covering 6 more quarterbacks. We covered 6 quarterbacks last week. It's a lot of fun. Come on in and join the party. It's going to be fun. So,
absolutely. So you get to hear more, Ryan. Till next week, you'll hear from me. I'm not scheduled to be on the station anytime soon either. So next week, next Thursday, we will start looking at some prospects, see where the basketball team is, see where these injuries are for them, and how spring training is progressing. Plus, where if any Ohio State stuff comes up, of course, we will always talk the Ohio State University. For Ryan Mosser, I'm Kevin Arnold. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love everyone. 3,000. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Let's bring on the combine. I'm excited.
USA. 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 Live life, all gas, no breaks. We'll see you next time right here on the Voice of the Land.